Hi folks, Doc Jake from Sioux Nation Ag Center here. Now, this video is a follow-up on one we did a couple weeks ago on how electric fencing can be used to extend the grazing ability of your pasture. Now, Generic Rancher Ron had a few tips that he wanted to throw out to you if you haven't used electric fencing in a pasture situation before, specifically if you haven't used it in hills like this, because let's face it, running fencing on hills is always a little challenging. So with that, Generic Rancher Ron's going to go through a few steps to take to make sure that you put your fence up so it's effective, as well as so that it goes quickly and easily, because let's face it, we're all busy, we all got stuff to do. We want to make sure this fencing process goes really smooth.
All right, we're just going to run through the steps that we use when we move the electric fence. We're going to disconnect the power source. We're going to take the wire off, pull up the post, move the wire over to the new location, reinstall the post, and then hook the power back. As simple as that. We can usually, on this 40 here, we can usually get this done in about 30 minutes. Step number 1, remove the power source. All right, always check, make sure that the power source is off, but the next thing is just to take the wire off of the insulators. Okay, this is the part I love about this plastic fencing as opposed to regular wire. We never cut the fencing line. Everything's protected by some plastic so it won't short out. I just make a loop in there, unwind it, and it's ready to move to the next location just by moving the insulator to the next post. All right, we're ready to move the wire. I'm just going to take it down the line there where that wooden post is jutted out, and that's going to give me a new pie shape. I expect this new pie shape will last this 30 cows about a week. Okay, one of the things you run into, you may notice that thing is like a real big curve in it. Well, I'm German, so I got to have a nice straight line to work with. So I'm just going to walk this down the line. Watch how I do that. It's going to take a little more wire, so real simple, just open that and the wire spool will roll out as I take it back to the fence. All right, I like to put the insulator on at about hip level, especially when I'm going into a dip. Here's the really sweet part. We're just going to slip this through. Pull it sort of tight. We've got some dips and doodles, so I don't want it too tight. I want enough slack. I just make a loop like that, double sure like that, and now I'm going to wrap up the extra and hang it over here so there's nothing to short out. Setting post in the hills, a little trickier because you got to make sure you maintain knee high to waist high on that wire throughout the whole process. But I find usually right next to the set, I'll just step a post down. That's far enough. I'm going to be taking it out in a week. Set my insulator, move on to the next. So the question is, what do we do about these washouts or valleys that we have through here? We just put a post at the hill part, a post down in the valley part, and a post back up on the hill part. And that way calves, even cows, they're not going to try to test that any. Well, okay, I exaggerated, but still, we put that down there and then back up here. That way the cows won't bother it. If the going's good, I'll put maybe 30 steps in between posts. But if I'm getting into hills and valleys, that's where I'll tighten it up from the 30-step rule. But I find at 30 steps, it doesn't sag too bad. And here we are about 30 minutes later, ready to reconnect and start the fencer. I always like to test it. It's always the most fun if I have a city cousin out visiting. And my favorite way to test this is just pull the insulator off. You need to run this up and down just a little bit because you don't have wire everywhere. And there we get in the spark, so that means we have a hot wire.
So there you have it, folks. Electric fencing, a very simple and easy way to extend your pasture so that you can graze cows longer during the year. Thanks again, Generic Rancher Ron, for all your help.
You're certainly welcome, and thank you, Doc.
Ah! And so, folks, if you have any interest in using Gallagher electric fencing, feel free to reach out to us at Sioux Nation Ag Center. We carry this at our locations, and if it's something that we don't have at a specific location, we can always get it to you ASAP so that you can get this electric fence out. Because let's face it, it's not raining very much. We got to do what we can to use grass as efficiently as possible. Efficient use of grass, of course, feeds that bottom line.
You had the insulator on backwards. Are you filming?
Oh yeah, now I'm filming.
Okay.
Look, if I do this, so that's what happens if you wear a pearl snap. You can hide the microphone so much faster and easier. The cord.
But you can't be the home of the brave like I am.
No, I'm the home of the blue striped shirt. That's about it. All right. One thing I would recommend is to make sure that you are not using a wired microphone while attempting to put up electric fence.
Real simple there, Doc.
Use of grass, of course, feeds that bottom line.
Cut.
I just wondered what you would do if I just stayed there a long time.
I'm jumpy, you know.
It's probably because you get electrified so easy.